Hi, this is Deirdre, and this is a short video I put together on decreasing reactivity. These are the kind of things that get in the way of our life, and if we learn how to be with it, we can have a better life. So this short little practice is something that you can try out and see what it's like for you. Every one of us gets triggered. We get triggered in large ways, small ways, but something happens. Most of us aren't steady, equanimous all the time. So when we get triggered, it's an opportunity to look at ourselves and explore what we can learn about ourselves. When we're triggered, something happens and we're instantaneously activated. And the end result is we do something. We do it inside of ourselves, we do it outside of ourselves, we do it quietly so nobody notices, or we do it in huge, disruptive, eruptive ways outside of ourselves. And the more we do it, the more a belief forms. It becomes more concrete. And when that happens, it ends up feeling like reality. It feels like we can't change anything. But it's not true. That's something that we've learned. If we do it over and over again, it becomes real. We feel stuck. We feel like we can't change it. But that's not true. We can learn to do whatever it is we're doing. We can learn to do it differently. I hope this is interesting to you, and let's dig a little deeper and get into it. All internal experience, everything that happens, can be explored. Every thought can be studied and seen how it forms. Every feeling inside of us, we can see the beginning, the middle, and the end of it. And every body sensation can reveal itself to us, and we can learn how to shift ourselves and shift our experience outside of ourselves. All this internal activation can be studied and noticed. Every impulse that we do, every impulse that we act on can be studied. And of course, all of our external behavior can be explored. Now, sometimes when it reaches the behavioral point, it feels so real, so concrete, we can't change it. Our task at this point is to look at, what happens before this whole sequence begins? What triggers the activation? And when we begin to look and study, what happens between the activation, or the trigger of the activation and the activation, then we have some freedom. It might be a thought that comes up in us. Might be a lot of feelings that happen. Good feelings, bad feelings, hard feelings, soft feelings, gentle feelings. And it could be a lot of body sensations. But all of that is something we can look at and explore. You want to know more about that? Well, here, let's do a quick summary. When we study what happens between each quick happening moment, we can begin to see and know and learn about the urge. We know about what triggered the urge, and we know how the urge then begins to manifest. We see how that impulse arises. We watch the whole cycle of it. And we begin to see what stimulates all of that. And when we do that, we learn to befriend our internal world. We learn to study and explore and make friends with what feels hard, uncomfortable, disruptive. And the result of it is that over time, as we study that, the activation is going to decrease. The reactivity will get smaller and smaller. It's a really simple solution. It requires just tuning in and being present to ourselves. If we slow down, and instead of going with the activation, which is hard, we learn to slow down and be present to what is, we begin to notice what's there, and we can observe more clearly what goes on in that moment, and then the reactivity will decrease. And the end result of all of this is that you're going to feel better. You'll feel less stressed. Your body will be able to relax more. And your heart is going to open and soften. Whatever tension you're feeling will begin to shift and change and reduce. That certain level of fear of the world and of other people will start to change and shift and leave you. And with that, you'll feel better in your life. And you'll know that you're in the flow of the life that you want to live. What could be better than that? As always, I love hearing how this goes for you, what you think about it, and what happens as you put this into practice in your life. So let me know. Send me an email.